Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought that I would share with you guys all the supplements that I have created for our homeschool here. I share things over on Instagram. If you guys want to check me out over there, you can. And I've had some questions on what supplements we use and if we can do a flip through of them. And so I thought today would be a perfect day for that. So I hope you guys stick around and see what I have to share with you. Around my channel, you know that I love Bible time. I love everything about Jesus. So I wanted to share with you guys some of these things that I have put together. If you've been around the channel, just hang tight, you guys. I am going to share with you guys new things that you have not seen yet. But I wanted to make sure to share the things that I have shared for all of you new homeschooling mamas or new to my channel homeschooling mamas. So the first thing I am going to share with you guys is this Bible characters book. I put this together just so that the kiddos can write about people from the Bible that they have learned about so that it kind of sticks a little bit easier. We know that those stories can kind of get intertwined and mixed up with other stories. I know as an adult, I have that same problem. So I thought having something to write them down on would be a perfect way for them to memorize or remember specific people. So for instance, this is Adam and Eve. I also have like Sarah and Rebecca, Moses, Balaam, Samuel, Saul, Jonathan, David. I mean, you guys, all of the people from the Bible. I have Jesus in here. So what I do is typically when we do a lesson on a specific person. So right now we are working through Joseph. When we're done with Joseph, I'm going to have the kids turn to Joseph in here and they are going to write about Joseph, whatever they can remember about Joseph and what he did. So that is what the Bible characters book is used for. Another thing that I came up with is making my own Bible verses. We use Abeka and I found that the verses were really long and the kids weren't retaining them. And I felt like some of them, they couldn't, as children, kind of use it towards their life experiences. So I went through the Bible and I chose some of my favorites and some verses that I just found would be easier for kids to understand and to apply to their own lives and situations that they're going through. So I made some of these Bible cards. There's a really bad glare, I'm sorry you guys. But I put together these Bible verses for them. And so we work on them depending on the length, anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks. And with that, they come in a sheet and then you just cut them and I laminated them. You can do whatever you would like with them, but that's how I do it here. And they just decorated these cute little wooden boxes from the Dollar Tree. And after I did that, I realized that I really wanted something that they can do for copy work. So I basically just put together this little booklet here. So I basically just put the verses here at the top and then I just added lines. And so they can write the verse on here for their copy work. And I did 2 verses. So if you printed it out, you'd have 2 verses next to each other and I just cut them down to fit so that it was smaller, so it wasn't such a big book. So that is what we do for our Bible verses. Another thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to give them something so that they could recognize how important it is to memorize verses and that we don't take it lightly that they memorize verses. So I put together these little sheets for Bible memorization. We put the verse that they completed, on what day, and by who. And so I just have little, just different decorations on here, you know, to go along with it. So that represent the Bible and Jesus. And so that's something else that I put together. These obviously I don't laminate because I write on them to give to them. So that is it for Bible. The next thing I'm going to show, oh no, I'm sorry, that's not it for Bible. Another thing I put together, we're working through the fruit of the Spirit. So I put together this little packet here. It's nothing too crazy. It has the tree here And then I have a little sheet of small pieces of fruit with the different fruit of the spirits. And then if you were to print this out, it comes with 4 different fruits on each side. And then on the back side, it just kind of has a breakdown of what the meaning and everything is of that specific fruit. And so you just cut it into 4ths. I laminated them. These are my daughter's. I laminated them, and I just put them on a ring. And so we use these when we're reading through this book here. So you can use these with any book, any teaching. You could look things up on the internet, however you guys would like to do it. You could do them on their own, but that is just how we are using it. And I apologize if I keep looking down, you guys, while I'm moving stuff around. I am not in any way trying to be rude. Okay, another thing you guys have probably seen on my channel is this landform book. And all it really is, you guys, is there's a space for them to draw the specific landform. And then I just wanted them to write the definition and a physical appearance of what that landform specifically is. Okay, so the book that I've just been having the girls work through is this geography from A to Z. So all of the, sorry guys, all of the landforms that you will find in here are in this booklet here. Okay, so that's geography. That's all I have on geography. Something else that you guys have probably seen me talk about is this United States Presidents book. I just found like I didn't have a lot on presidents, and I felt like I wanted them to learn about the presidents. So I just put together this little booklet here. It has all of the presidents in here, from the first to the last, or the most recent, and there's just some facts that we want them to put, the number president that they are, some facts and informations about them here, things that they did while in presidency. And so what we use with that, honestly, you guys, the information that it needs from that book is literally, you could find it anywhere. What we use is this president's book. I got this, I want to say at the Dollar Tree. So $1. When I got it, it was $1. Now it's $1.25. We also purchased this just to have a little bit more information for the kiddos because that one's really short. So my sister does this one, and I think she picks and chooses from this because it's pretty long. And we just use this kind of as like a filler. It's not really like a full class. And then I picked these up from the dollar section at Target. I think at the beginning of this year, actually. And they're actually really, really cute. Cute, I don't know if you could say they're cute, but they're cool. So they have the pictures here, right? Some of them are doubled up, and then they have information on the back, so all of their facts. So this one's really cool. My sister's playing like games and stuff with using these cards. I'm not quite sure how she's doing it, but I'll have to let you guys know. And then she like hands out little like fake quarters to turn into our school store. She does all kinds of things. So I'll see if I can find out what she does with that so I can let you guys know. So moving on from that, I'm going to show you guys what I put together for our ecosystems oral report. This is the first oral report that we had the kids do, and we kind of winged it, you guys, because it's the first one that we've done. So I wanted to have like a little template to have the kids follow, and we were going to do it on a poster board, and then I was like, man, I want to keep this for Tally's, what is it called? What's it called, you guys? What's it called? Her, oh my gosh. What is it called, you guys? Please leave it down below. I cannot think of what it's called. When you put together all their work from the year and you hold on to it. I'm moving on. I have no idea, you guys. I've really had like a brain fart. Okay, so I just kind of have like a short informational thing on the front here, just, you know, telling you how to use this. So basically, I'm going to show you hers first just to kind of give you an idea. So like I said, we were going to put it in on a poster board, but I wanted to save it, so I wanted it a little bit more compact. So I thought, why not do it on a file folder? So it's actually 3 file folders put together. I'm sorry, it's 2, it's not 3. So I just taped the 2 ends together and it made a trifold. So she painted the ecosystem, which is the tropical Andes on the front, and then this is the templates that I used. So basically, we have climate, plants, habitat, and animals. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. I'm so sorry. Oh, timber. Okay. So these here are, you know, the habitat, the animals, the climate, the plants. And then here in the center on the top is the map. And then the section in the center is for her web. And then the bottom is for the explanation of the ecosystems and then the abiotic and biotic factors. So that is basically what we did. And I'm going to show you here. Okay, so I did 2 different types that you can get, but they're together in the same package. So if you were to purchase it, you would get for both. Okay, so I kind of just have like an informational thing here, just telling you how to do it. This is just like a sample. It even says sample down here. So it's just telling you that on these specific pages, you're going to cut out and then you're going to paste this to this and this to this. So that you get that same look of the, you know, the animals and the climate and stuff like that. Because what it is, I'm hoping I'm not confusing you guys. So what it is, I'll show you this side. Okay, so what it is here's habitat. So we had her find the habitat on the internet and we printed it out. And then you can flip it and it has all of her information on the flamingos in the Andes. And so she wrote about it and she wanted to do 2. So the next one she did was on the chinchillas. So she printed out that photo and then underneath of that, she has her writing on the chinchillas. She did the same thing with the animals. So she did it on the actual flamingo, okay, to go with her habitat. And so she has her writing underneath for the flamingos, and then underneath it's the chinchillas, and she has the writing on the chinchillas. Now you don't have to do 2 for each. The kids just wanted to. And then on this side, she just has 1. So here's the climate for the tropical Andes. She found a graph and then she wrote about it. And then the plants here, she chose cotton and then she wrote about it. So that's basically what these here are for. Let me find it, I'm sorry. So when you come across these, this is what they're gonna cut out. And then they're gonna paste this to this or staple it. We had the girls staple it and then we pasted the back inside the file folder. So you're gonna get plants, climate, animals, and habitat. And you can print out as many as you would like. And then another thing we did is this is what the center section is, where it has the map and then the abiotic and biotic. I'm sorry, I'm backwards. Biotic and abiotic. This one is blank. This is blank, and this is for your food chain. So she wrote about the food chain here, and she wrote about the Andes here, or ecosystems, I can't remember. I think it's ecosystems. So I have the one with the actual labeling here, and then I also put in one that has no labeling, and you guys can do that as how you would like. Now that is for the one for the file folder. Now I'm gonna share the one that I have for the actual poster. It's going to be bigger, okay? So basically here is the map. You can see it's a lot larger. And then we have the abiotic and biotic. And then we have the food chain in these 2 blank sections that they can write on. Now you guys could print out as many as these as you want. It's completely up to you guys, obviously, how you guys want your kiddos to lay it out, or lay it out, not lie it out, you guys. And then you're gonna see that the picture sections are larger also. So here's habitat, and then you are going to have the place that they're going to do their writing. So that is what I came up with for the ecosystems oral report. So I wanted to share that just in case some of you guys are in the same boat as we were, how we wanted to incorporate oral reports, just because I feel like it's very important for them to know how to talk in front of people. Even though it's us, they had to stand in front of us and present it to us. And I feel like that's really important. So that is super long. I'm sorry, this is pretty long, you guys. But the next thing here, I'm going to show you guys all of our actual unit studies that we have been doing and that we have to do still. So for history, we've been working through Notgrass, and if you know anything about Notgrass, it's a really great company, Christian-based. Their lessons for elementary age are, there's a two-part book called Our Star-Spangled Story. And so it's a two-part book. So we worked through part 1 last year and part 2 this year. Last year, I started doing some little unit studies on the side, and I decided that I really enjoyed that and the kids were learning so much. So I wanted to incorporate more units. So because each week they only have 3 lessons, and for each lesson it's on a specific person. So like Helen Keller. So I decided that for certain things I wanted to make a unit study about it so that we could learn more about them. So basically, let's see here. First one I'll share with you is our Alexander Graham Bell. They're pretty short. They're not too long and extreme. I'm sorry some of these have writing in them because my daughter has already done these. But I just have questions to where they're found in a book that we used. And there's question, there's true or false, there's little activities, there's some creative writing, reading comprehension, stuff like that intertwined throughout this little unit here. And so the book that we used to go along with this was this one here. And it is by Scholastic. It's Alexander Graham Bell, Setting the Tone for Communication. So this is the book that I used for the information that's in this. Now the next one I'll share with you is Ellis Island, and this one we have this unit study. Now what I do for each of our unit studies is I have a student book and a teacher key. So this is the student book, and what I do is I bind it on the top just because having it on the side gets in the way of the kids' hands and it's kind of hard to write sometimes. So here's Ellis Island. All of my unit studies basically consist of question answer type things, true or false, yes or no, matching, listing, you know, 1 through 5s. I have some creative writing in them. I have some activities in them. This we just added, we printed and put in here. It's the list of people that were on there. This was just an activity of what they would want to take with them if they were to have to go to a different country to live. Here's some more questions and answers. Here's a little poem for the Statue of Liberty, and they had to color it. It's like a fill-in-the-blank poem. More questions and answers, things like that throughout this one. This is the Ellis Island again. And here's my teacher key. It's laid out the exact same way, except I have all of my answers in red here to share with you guys what the answers are, so you don't have to really, you know, I don't know. I took away some of the work for you guys, okay? So with the Ellis Island, we went ahead and used the Cornerstone of Freedom, Ellis Island by Scholastic. This is the book that we read through for the answers that are in that book. Another one we worked through was George Washington Carver. Again, I have my teacher key here, and I have my student book here. The book that we used this one because I had it on hand. I do plan to go back to this during the summertime or when I have a chance, when I'm not making unit studies that we actually need in our school. But I plan on going back and using the Who Was book for this. Now I had this on hand, so the level rating is 1 through 3. So if you want to do the George Washington Carver, it's a really easy read. So I'm thinking younger kids could definitely do this. So yeah, we use the National Geographic Kids African American History Makers Collection. So levels 1, 2, and 3 of reading. So that is where I came up with the answers or the questions and answers in these books here. And so this is, you know, a little activity that they got to draw a plant of what it would look like if George Washington Carver was to do himself. Just a little bit of creative writing. What are the blessings that George Washington Carver contributed to our country? We have just some yes and no questions and some written questions and answers here. I have a timeline in here. This one's pretty short because of the book we used, but there's some more in here, but that's basically what the George Washington Carver unit looks like. The next one I have here is the Wright Brothers. So again, I have my teacher key here and my student key here, or my student book. Here, I'll show you. And you know what? I wanted to point out, so I was laminating the front sheet, right? But I decided I was just gonna laminate a 5, I forget what it's called, 5 something laminating sheet. It's a little thicker. And so I just laminate it by itself, and then I laminate a colored piece of paper in the back, and that's how I do it instead of laminating the sheet in here, because I could reuse these ones, you guys, instead of constantly having to laminate this. You know, it just made my life easier. So I wanted to point that out just in case you guys are going to be doing the same thing. But for the Wright Brothers, we have some questions, answers. I mean, that's basically how I do all of my units, just to make sure that the kids are comprehending what they're reading and they're paying attention when we read. I have some drawing things here, little activities, more activities. I have a little graph here showing what they made and what it looked like. I did pull in some of the actual documents and stuff from the internet on what they had written in their journals and things like that. More yes and no, true or false questions. There's some just, you know, asking their opinions on things. More drawing, and then I just have some pictures in here for them to look through. So that's basically our Wright Brothers. The book that I used for this was Can You Fly High? Wright Brothers by Scholastic. So with those, what I decided was I wanted to work through the Welcome to Samantha's World 1904, because in this book it talks about a lot of the things that we had already gone over, like the Wright Brothers, the telephone. What else is in here? Roosevelt, I always forget. But so we decided to use that. Last year we were doing lap books, and I think the kids got tired of doing lap books, so I just wanted to change it up a little bit. So this is my teacher key. We actually just finished this last week. So there are some questions and answers. They get to paste some photos in here that are in the booklet. They get to draw. There's some creative writing here, what they would do if they were in this situation. Drawing a map of the town, what it would have looked like then. Creative writing on somebody that they learned about. More questions. This is just a little activity on a poster board of different amusement type things that the kids did. So they're going to cut these out and paste them on here, but I have some with pictures already there, and then some that they have to draw themselves. More questions. This is just like a little activity here on the back. They would cut these out and put them in order on what day wash week fell on, because they had different things they had to do on wash week. So, you know, Monday was washing the clothes, Tuesday was steaming them, like just random stuff. So I thought that that would be kind of cool to make sure that they were paying attention, just some cutting and pasting, something fun. Here's some more questions. And some of these are more like thought-provoking for them, just to think of what they would do or what they think was best for them. It's not just always answering the questions in the book. Drawing some of the things here, more questions and pasting activities. Now when there's a page that's blank, you will see that if you purchase these, it's because they're activities to do. So this is decorating this sun hat that they used back in 1904. We also have, here's some more questions and answers. There's something in here about traditions of when you get married, you know, the old saying, something old, something new, something blue, something borrowed. Wait, something borrowed, something blue, and a sixpence or something. So in here, it's just like a little activity that tells them to talk to their mom or their grandma or their aunt, just a woman that's special to them, to find out the story behind what they used in their wedding, and they get to write it down. I thought that that would be kind of cool. The things you don't think about telling your kids that may one day, they may think of, you know, on their wedding day. So that's in here. And then just some more question-provoking things. This is another activity. They're gonna cut the envelope out, and they're gonna paste it or tape it here, just the sides and the bottom, and then you're gonna press flowers, and you're gonna keep them in this envelope for a keepsake. So just stuff like that. This I've actually redone. This is not the same. I redid this. So there are a few pages in here that are going to be different. So this is another time where they get to do some creative writing, you know, so stuff like that. So that is what is in this. That was a really long explanation. This one's a little bit longer of a unit, may take a little bit longer. It took us about 2 weeks to get through this one, which isn't bad. That's pretty normal. We can get through them 1 to 2 weeks. That one was 2. So I also wanted to mention that if you guys ever want to see a flip through, like an in-depth flip through of these items, let me know and I'll do a video on some of them for you guys. So the next one I have here is, we haven't actually worked through this one yet. This is coming up. So this is going to be our World War I unit. And so this is my teacher key here. And then this is the student key that I printed out to share with you guys. But I wanted to mention that I do the top. This one's my daughter's. So I do the top binding, like I said, because it's easier for them. But so for instance, in this, I did the same, you guys, and I'm telling you, I love doing it like this instead of the actual cover of the book. So this again just has activities. They're going to be cutting out and pasting things, matching things up, creative writing, questions, answering questions, putting things in order. Yeah. Questions and answers, yes and no. This is like a matching thing, like a definition type of thing. There's going to be some activities where they get to draw, finding out what different fighter jets or planes these are. Fighter jets, you guys, those weren't around then. And this one I think is really gonna be fun. I'm hoping the kids like it, but they learn a little bit about spies. So I put some activities in here for a spy kit. So they're gonna put together a spy kit, doing different things like invisible ink, writing a map, doing coding or ciphering. I don't know if I said that right. And so I did little templates. So this is what they can use to do their invisible ink on. This is where they can write their secret message in code. And I put some information in here for you guys on where to find those things, like how to do coding. I do have a little recipe in here for the invisible ink. It's here. So make sure that you are around while doing this, because you do need a source of heat to help the invisible ink come through. So I wanted to mention that on here. And then, so it's just questions and answers and activities, just a bunch of fun things. I can't wait to do this one. I'm hoping that the kids enjoy the activities that we have in here. But the book that I used for this was the DK Find Out World War I book. This book is actually really, really cool, you guys. All these books have been really good for information. Something that I put together that had nothing to do with Notgrass, but the kids really wanted to do it, was on the Titanic. So I put together my own unit on the Titanic. Here's the teacher key and the student key. Again, all the teacher keys have the answers in writing, and some of the answers you'll see will vary just because it's more of like a creative writing or critical thinking on their own part instead of the answers actually being in the book. But this is one that has, you know, questions and answers. There are some activities in here as well. Another fun thing to do with this one is to watch the documentaries. You guys can do a drawing. I know that they have a tutorial on YouTube for drawing the Titanic, which is really cool. So that is the Titanic. All right, you guys, so one of the last 2 unit studies on books I'm going to share with you guys is this one. We haven't started yet. We're actually starting this week. Is the food you eat and why you should or shouldn't eat it. So this is for health. It's food and nutrition in our bodies. So here is the students and here is the teachers. Again, I did the clear, you guys, and I'm loving it. And so throughout here, I have a little note for you guys. I'll just tell you here. Now, I use the DK book, Are You What You Eat? This is such a great book. But at the beginning, they use a timeline that kind of, it contradicts the Bible. And so I didn't feel comfortable including that in my unit because I don't believe in that. So I didn't include it in my unit. But it's just the first couple of pages in the book. But I did start it at the pages that start with the regular timeline that we use today. So I'm going to show you in my book just because it's easier to flip through. So I have the timelines here that they're going to use. So there's a timeline in here with food and stuff in the kitchen. And then it goes into just questions and answers using this word box to answer these questions. Different minerals and vitamins that we use, creating a human cell. Stuff like that. Different groups of foods, like foods that have calcium or carbohydrates and proteins. They're going to put together a body here with different organs and the steps that we use to have food move through our body. So there's a lot of things asking about different nutrients and minerals and vitamins that our bodies need at what ages, what foods those things are found in. Here's a little sorting activity that they get to do. They get to put the food, they're going to cut it out and put it into the baskets that they belong. Here is, what are these called? Contrasts? What are these called? Oh my gosh, you guys. I forget. What are these called? Leave me a comment down below. I forget. But I have one of those in there. Just different writing activities. I have some, some things that are kind of more fun for them that they get to just create on their own, like a menu, but they have to use specific things to create their menu. That makes it balanced. Different types of vitamins again. So this is basically our health book for the last quarter of the year. I'm sorry, for the last semester. We're using this for the last 2 quarters. And so the book, like I said, again, is Are You What You Eat by DK. The other health book that we used this year that I created was the Girl's Body book. When we worked through this book, we read The Care and Keeping of You by American Girl. Now, a couple of the things in here I don't agree with how they have it in there, and the same thing you'll find in here. There are some things that they talk about in here, like weight and stuff like that, that I tried to steer clear of, and you'll probably notice that because I feel like, especially for girls, I mean, it happens to boys too, but I think that it gives the wrong impression on kids when really it isn't about weight. It's about health and stuff like that, and everybody's different sizes, and so you'll see that I kind of steer clear of that. And I did the same thing in this book. Like, for instance, for an example, they talk about freckles and like cold sores and acne and stuff. And my daughter has freckles. I had freckles when they were little. And for them to make it seem like it was a bad thing, I just didn't feel like that was appropriate. So I kind of leave certain things out. Same thing with things being talked about, weight and stuff like that. I just stand clear of that stuff, you guys, because I know how it is to be a girl and a young girl, and I don't know. I just don't want to impress that onto our kids. So with that being said, we worked on the Girl's Body book, and so this is already filled out because Tally's already done this one, and I didn't have an extra copy to share with you guys, but it's just the same type of deal, you guys. Questions and answers. There's some creative writing in here, things that they can talk to a special person in their life, like a mom or a grandma or an aunt or cousin. There are some verses that I put in here. There's some graphing. Moving on from our unit studies or book studies, that's basically what I've done so far. You guys, I still have stuff I'm working on. I literally, 2 nights ago, I finished this one here. This was the last one that I did. Before that, I finished this. Like, it's crunch time for me, you guys. It's like back to back. But I'm going to be working on, which ones am I working on? The Great Depression, World War II, and women that fought in it. I'm also working on Hidden Figures. I'm really excited for that one. Some, let me think, civil rights movements type things. The first cars, stuff like that. So I still have book studies that I'm constantly going to be pulling out. I am still working on other things as well. I want to kind of add things to my calendar, change things up a little bit. I'm not sure how soon I'll have all those things out, you guys. I'm a busy mom. I'm a wife. I'm a homeschooler. Like, yeah, so I can only do what I can do, but I am trying. I did want to share with you guys some incentive things that we're doing for the kids. Now, when they're good throughout the day, like if they're sitting quietly and working and not complaining, or they're, you know, maybe they read something out loud and they did really, really well, or we asked questions and they were getting them all answered correctly, or they're just following direction really well, we will give them little cards like these that say different things on them, like impressive or clever or great reading, you can do it, superstar. So what they are is, I just created them and I put them on a piece of paper, you guys. That made no sense, but I printed them out, all right, and then I just cut them out and I laminated them. I think I actually laminated them first and then cut them out. I don't remember. But so I put together these, and they don't get any more than 2 a day, but 2 is the max that they get a day. And then at the end of the week, they get to trade these in for dollar bills. So say they have 15 of these little certificates, they will count them up and then they will trade them in for cash, fake cash. Okay, it's play cash. And then they get to shop in our school store. So what they do is they find items that they want, they have to add them up, and then they have to pay with their money. They have to tell us how much it is, or we count it with them. They tell us how much it is, and we do change and everything with them just for life skill. And so that's something that we really enjoy doing. So the kids get, you know, a little incentive at the end of the week. Sometimes they go a couple weeks without doing it. Another thing that we've been doing is for every 100 that they get on math, they get to punch a little hole out of a piece of paper. I'm in the process of making little cards for that. But as soon as they get 10 hole punches, they get to receive a free $5 coupon for a book of their choice. So they can either, you know, buy a book with it one at a time, or they can save them up and buy a more expensive book. We can go through Book Outlet, we could go through Thrift Books, Amazon, however they want to do it. It's really hard to see, but I laminated them and we hand them out to them. Gives them a little more incentive into working harder on getting those, you know, better grades. And so I accidentally printed these out double-sided, but I wanted to share with you guys. So they come out on a sheet like this, and you're just gonna cut them out and laminate them for them, and then cut them out laminated. And so, yeah, so it's a free book up to $5. So that's their little book coupons that they get once they get 10 hole punches or 10 hundreds on their math. I am going to be doing it on their language, and I think that's it. I think it's just language and math if they get hundreds on their tests. And math is actually 100 for every lesson. It's not just tests, because sometimes hundreds are hard for them to get. So we don't make it so it's too hard, but we make it so that it's a challenge still. But that's it, you guys. I think that is all of my supplements so far. I have like a meal planning thing. Oh, did I finish that? I have a book review, book report type of guide that you can go through. I don't have it here with me. I didn't print it out. I forgot, but I will have that on my website. Make sure you guys follow that link below to get there. My Bible supplements are all free right now through my website. I really want to give back, especially when it has to do with the Lord and learning about the Lord, and our kids being able to have supplements and things that they could hold in their hands and feel connected to the Lord. So yeah, so that is it, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Let me know if there's anything specific that you saw today that you want to see a closer look at, like a flip through. just let me know down in the comments. Please give me a big thumbs up if this is something that you enjoyed watching. And I hope that you guys saw something here that you thought would fit your guys' homeschool. My kiddos are actually enjoying all of these, so yeah, it feels kind of good. So, all right, you guys, be safe, be blessed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
What if the world had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars,